the time we be pubbing on the grind. If it's LJ from Houston, pulling up stats, you'll be pulling in stacks, hitting bookies from the back with no Vaseline. I need green and upsea quantities for a fiend, save the dreams for a king. This is H-Town, home of the lean. Astros is the team and we rock it. We rock Texans for life, you can't stop it. Together like brothers and Benz and Jets. All the time we be pubbing on the grind. If it's LJ from Houston, pulling up stats, you'll be pulling in stacks, hitting bookies from the back with no Vaseline. I need green and upsea quantities for a fiend, save the dreams for a king. This is H-Town, home of the lean. Astros is the team and we rock it. We rock Texans for life, you can't stop it. Together like brothers and Benz and Jets.
What's going on, sports fans? Once again, it's your boy LJ from H-Town coming to you week 10, ladies and gentlemen, NFL prop bets. And I did some diving, ladies and gentlemen, and I found some bets. I think I have 7 that I'm going to throw at you today, just something that you can, look at, see if you want to take, see if you just want to lay off. It's up to you. Not saying that you have to make these plays, but these are just some suggestions and stats that I dug into with the teams that's facing off this week. And we can see if we can get some money, ladies and gentlemen. So, like I said, top of the morning, it's Sunday, NFL. You know what time it is, man. It's time to get this money. And this is what we do. We come on here, do the work, try to find y'all some good money, man, so we can make some good change off this NFL today. So, let's start it off right here, man. We're going to go to this Washington Commanders versus Seattle game. And when we're talking Washington, we're talking Sam Howell. He leads the league, averaging 39 pass attempts a game. He's averaging 38 pass attempts on the road. He's averaging 40 pass attempts versus NFC games. Last 2 weeks, he's averaging 48 pass attempts. Last 4 weeks, he's averaging 40. So he's right there at that 39-40 threshold for pass attempts a game. And like I mentioned, he's taking on Seattle today, who's ranked 27th in opposing pass attempts a game. They're allowing 40 pass attempts at home. So that lets me know that the defense pretty much stopped the run for the most part. And when we're dealing with Washington, they don't really run the ball like that. So they're going to depend on Sam Howell to throw the ball down the field. And looking at his pass attempts over 37.5 minus 114 is going to be my play on that side of the ball. I just believe he is one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the league, if not the most sacked quarterback. So there's a lot of opportunities for him to throw the ball. And like I said, if he throw it out of bounds, if he throws it to the ground, even if he hits a receiver that wasn't meant to be thrown to, all that counts as pass attempts. So we're just going to stick to the pass attempts. Don't worry about the yards. Don't worry about the reception. Nothing like that. We don't know what receiver is going to step up in this game, but we do know that Sam Howell has to pass the ball in order for Washington to be effective. So we're going to take his over 37.5 pass attempts minus 114. Let's go over to this one, gentlemen. We have Geno Smith on the other side of the ball, over 1.5 passing touchdowns minus 109. And the reason why we're doing that, ladies and gentlemen, is because Washington has given up at least 2 passing touchdowns 5 out of their last 6 games. Russell Wilson had 3. I believe Jalen Hurts had 2. Justin Fields had 4. Desmond Ridder had 2. Tyrod Taylor had 2. And I believe they played Hurts again, and he had 4. So they played Philadelphia twice. He's had 6 touchdowns on them in 2 games. So they give up the passing touchdown a lot. And if they're going to try to stop Kenneth Walker III today on the run game, have to remain to be seen, but I believe that Geno Smith will come off a loss as well. I believe they did lose last week. Yes, they lost to the Ravens. Bad. So we know, it's an old theory that us cappers understand that a team coming off a loss, an embarrassing loss on national TV where everybody saw it, that next week, they tend to bounce back and prove that they're going to get that image out of people's mind of what happened last week to show that they are a better team and they're going to have a better performance today. So I believe Seattle is going to try to have a better performance today. They should be. Washington. It's a home game, and Washington has to travel across to go West Coast to Seattle on a late game. So that may be an advantage for Seattle. So I'm going to take advantage of that and take advantage of Geno Smith to throw at least 2 touchdowns today on Washington. And then we have that at minus 109. Let's go over this game, Jim. We have the Atlanta Falcons also going to the West Coast to take on these Arizona Cardinals. And we're talking Atlanta. We only can talk one thing with Atlanta. All they do is run the ball. That's their identity. And when they're running the ball, we're going to jump on Bijan Robinson today, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to look at the rushing yards over 56.5. And we're looking at the anytime touchdown plus 120. And the reason why we're doing that is because Arizona has allowed the running back to score a touchdown in 4 out of their last 6 games. They did it last week as well to Cleveland. Kareem Hunt scored a touchdown on on Arizona last week. So, not to mention, Bijan Robinson is from Arizona. You know, I believe he went to Arizona. I'm not sure. I think he did go there to Arizona University. So he was born there. He's bred there. We already know family members are going to be in the crowd. You know, he's got people in the stands. You know, he had to get tickets for. So he's one that's going to show out today in front of his family of his hometown. And the fact that Arizona is so vulnerable on running the ball, against the run, they're vulnerable against the run. I believe Atlanta can take advantage today. And Bijan Robinson, he can go for a long touchdown or he can get a goal line touchdown. But I do believe that he will catch both of these bets, considering this is where he grew up at. Players love performing in their hometown. So I'm going to take a shot on Bijan Robinson from the Atlanta Falcons to get over 56.5 rushing yards, minus 114. And we're going to take the separate bet, anytime touchdown, plus 120 for BJ Robinson today versus the Arizona Cardinals, which Kyler Murray's coming back. So interesting game to see how he performs as well. All right, Joe, let's go over to this game. We have the Detroit Lions also going out to the West Coast to take on the LA Chargers. And we were talking about this game. Got 2 looks in this game. First look, we have Amon St. Brown over 83.5 receiving yards, minus 114. And the reason why we have that, gentlemen, is because he has been a monster these past couple of games. Actually, more than a couple of games. He has 100+ receiving yards 5 out of his last 6 games. And Jared Goff depends on him a lot. And the fact that the Chargers allow the most passing yards in the NFL, I believe St. Brown is a good look today. They allowed Kelsey to get 179. They allowed CeeDee Lamb to get 117. Justin Jefferson got 149 on them. Even Hawkinson had 78 yards on them. And Tyreek Hill had 215 yards. So Chargers give up a lot of passing, receiving yards. And the fact that Amon St. Brown is on a heater right now, 100+, 5 out of his last 6 games, I believe Jared Goff is going to continue to find him today. And I believe Detroit will go into LA and win this game and beat the Chargers. You know, they're coming off are they coming off a bye? Detroit? No, they lost to no, they won. They beat last Monday night, I believe. They played the Raiders. That's who they played. They played the Raiders at home last Monday night. They won that game. So yeah, they're coming off a win. Chargers coming off a win as well versus the Jets last Monday night. So they're putting on a short week. So we're going to see how it happens. So we're going to take Amon St. Brown over 83.5 receiving yards, minus 114. And we're going to stay on that same side of the ball. We're going to take his teammate, the tight end, Sam Laporta, over 4.5 receptions, minus 136. He's had 5+ receptions 5 out of his 8 games. And like I just mentioned, the Chargers are vulnerable on the pass defense. So if I believe St. Brown is going to be getting receiving yards, somebody else is going to have to get some work too. And the fact that Jared Goff loves going to check down to his tight end, Sam Laporta, he's catching the ball. You know, 5 receptions, 5 out of his 8 games. So I believe that he will be a part of the offense today as well. And him and St. Brown would definitely be a potent 1-2 punch to take out these LA Chargers today. So we're going to also jump on the tight end of Detroit, Sam Laporta, over 4.5 receptions, minus 136. Let's move over to this game, ladies and gentlemen. And look who do we have here. Tennessee Titans to take on the Tampa Bay Bucks. And we do know that Tennessee has a new quarterback. His name is Lewis, I believe. And he's been performing for the most part. And he loves the connection he has with DeAndre Hopkins. So Why not take a shot? DeAndre Hopkins over 63.5 receiving yards, minus 114. And the reason why I want to do that is because he's had 60 plus 4 out of his last 5 games. And for the most part, Tampa Bay allows the second most passing yards in the NFL. They allowed 3 receivers to get 100 plus yards last week versus the Texans, which was an outstanding game that the Texans came back and won. But they gave up 100 yards to 3 different Texans receivers last week. They allowed 4 receivers to get 65 plus with Buffalo. St. Brown had 24 yards on Tampa Bay. A.J. Brown had 131 on Tampa Bay's defense. DJ Moore of the Bears had 104 yards on this Tampa Bay defense. In the first week of the season, Justin Jefferson had 150 yards receiving on this Tampa Bay's defense. So Tampa Bay is very vulnerable when it comes to the number 1 receiver for the most part, but they will let other receivers get receiver yards as well. But today, we're going to stick to DeAndre Hopkins. I like the connection, like I just mentioned, with him and Lewis now. You know, he's a new quarterback, so they got a new attitude. Tannehill's gone. So Diop can trust his new quarterback to get him the ball, and specifically the fact that Tampa Bay's pass defense is the way it is, the second most passing yards allowed in the NFL. DeAndre Hopkins should get his receiving yards. He may get a touchdown as well, but I'm not going to put that on the show. He may, but let's just stick to where Tampa Bay is vulnerable at, and that's the pass defense. So DeAndre Hopkins, over 63.5 receiving yards, minus 114. We're going to stay in the same game, and we're going to go on the other side of the ball. We're going to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers kicker, Chase McLaughlin, over 1.5 field goals, minus 134. And simply the reason why we're doing that, ladies and gentlemen, is because the Tennessee Titans have allowed 23 made field goals in 9 games. And they've allowed 2+ field goals 7 out of their 8 games. Only one game that I believe, well, 2 games, I'm sorry. 2 games I believe that the field goal kicker, the opposing field goal kicker of the Titans, did not have 2+ field goals in that game. But they are the team that gives up the most. I believe the Rams give up the most as well. But Tennessee definitely has 23 made field goals allowed in 9 games. So the Titans, they have a good rush defense. You can pass on them. They have a good rush defense. So I don't think Tampa Bay is going to be able to run the ball because they don't run the ball at all for the most part. They ran a little bit last week, but for the most part, they don't run the ball. So if they're going to have chances to score, especially when they get on the other side of the field with the Titans, if it comes to that 4th down, I think they're going to trust their field goal kicker, Chase McLaughlin, to get them a field goal. And he's hit it 3 out of the 4 games at home. He's had 1.5 field goals, 3 out of the 4 home games this year. So we're going to take a shot, Chase McLaughlin, over 1.5 field goals, minus 134. All right, ladies and gentlemen, last game we have today. We have the New York Dreadful Giants going out to Cowboy Stadium in Arlington to take on these Dallas Cowboys. Divisional game here, and we already know how dreadful the Giants are. And the Giants have allowed a running back to score a touchdown in 8 of their 9 games played. They've also allowed 153 rushing yards on the road to the running back. And they've also allowed the opponent's team total to average 26.5 points on the road. So all that said, ladies and gentlemen, it's no mystery here. It's not rocket science. Tony Pollard, over 69.5 rushing yards, plus Dallas to win and minus 105. And the reason why I hooked that on there is because when you look up the rushing yards for Pollard, 69.5, I believe it was like minus 130 last time I see. I don't know what it is now. And also the touchdown, anytime touchdown, was juiced to like minus 183, almost minus 200. So you're going to have to parlay something to get the juice down. So I looked up Tony Pollard to get these yards and Dallas to win, minus 105. That's a decent bet right there because we all know that Dallas more than likely is going to win this game. It's about if they cover the spread. I believe they have to cover this spread just to show these teams in the NFL they're still a viable viable contender. And they're coming off a loss last week versus the Eagles, another division game that they lost last week. They're going to come back on their home court, on their home field, which they are a massive home favorite, which they perform well, especially versus bum teams. You know, if you go back to the Dallas schedule this year, they played bum teams at home, the Rams, the Patriots, the Jets, I believe, played them at home, and now they're playing the Giants. All those teams are bottom NFL offensive wise, so there's no reason why Dallas should struggle today versus the Giants. Now, if anybody has the balls to take the Giants today and the Giants win, I'm pretty sure they're going to be very, very lucrative. It's almost like hitting the lottery today. If you take the Giants to win this game, you're hitting the lottery today. If you're just going to take a chance on that. But same people understand those odds are against us. They may cover the 17, though. You know, they may win by 16. You know, who knows? It may come in between 1 or 2 points for them to get that spread. But I believe that the Cowboys have to cover that spread. Now, they may come out in the first half and just blow them out and cover the first half spread. And then the second half, they may take their foot off the gas. You know, they may not care. They may pull some starters, you know, let the second string come in. So you never know what happens at the end of the games. That's why I like to trust the first part of the games for the most part. But we're going to take advantage of how vulnerable the Giants are on the rush defense and giving up the touchdown to the running back. Now, if you want to hook up another part of that 180 anytime touchdown to Pollard, you can do that. But, you know, I didn't have to do that. I just feel Dallas is going to win, and he's going to get 70 rushing yards on the Giants defense. He may get that in 1 or 2 plays. So who knows what happens. But we're going to play it safe and take Tony Pollard over 69.5 rushing yards plus Dallas to win at minus 104. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. Those are all the plays that I have. We want to recap for the most part. We have Sam Howell over 37.5 pass attempts, minus 114 over the Seattle Seahawks. We're going on the other side of the ball. We're going to take Geno Smith over 1.5 passing touchdowns, minus 109. Going down to Arizona, we're going to take B.J. Robinson over 56.5 rush yards plus his anytime touchdown. We're going to double up in this game because he's from Arizona, and I believe he's going to want to perform in front of that home family that he's going to have in those stands. You know, that's just something that athletes do. They love to perform in front of their family. This is the first game he's came back to Arizona to play in the NFL. Those memories are memorable for players, and I believe he's going to make a statement today and want to show out in front of his family in his home state. We're going to Detroit. Amon-Ra Brown over 83.5 receiving yards, minus 114, considering how the Chargers are horrific on the pass defense. And we're going to double up and take his partner, Sam Laporta, over 4.5 receptions, minus 136, because he's a very dependable option for Jared Goff, especially on checkdowns, on third downs, and things like that. So I believe both of those players will be a viable, potent production today in the offense. We're going to take DeAndre Hopkins over 63.5 receiving yards, minus 114, considering Tampa Bay gives up the second most yards to the receiver. And the number one receiver is DeAndre Hopkins on the team. And him and Lewis, the new quarterback, they have a connection. So I'm just going to keep taking advantage of that connection that they guys have. And I'm going to jump on D-Hop today, his receiving yards. Chase McLaughlin, over 1.5 field goals, minus 134 with Tampa Bay. Like I mentioned, the Titans give up the most field goals in the NFL, 23 made field goals in 9 games. So Chase McLaughlin, 2 field goals today, should be an easy catcher today because they probably would have to struggle to score touchdowns today on the Titans defense. So Chase McLaughlin should get his points today and get 2 field goals. Last but not least, Tony Pollard, over 69.5 rushing yards, plus Dallas to win, minus 105. I just believe that Dallas is going to hopefully take care of business today versus the Giants. And you never know how these games are going to go. Sometimes when the other side have so much of the advantage, you know, they tend to not play as well as they do just because they're playing down to their competition. But it shouldn't happen today. We're trusting that Dak and these Cowboys are going to bounce back versus this divisional foe that they easily take care of, man. You know, I think they beat the Giants 12 out of the last 13 games. I don't know the real record, but they've handled business versus the Giants. So there's no reason why they shouldn't take care of business today. So those are my plays, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate y'all for tuning in once again. LJ from H-Town RaWordz podcast. Week 10 NFL prop bets are in. So hopefully y'all can get some cash today. And like I always say on Sunday, y'all jump on Who Banking Sports in about 2 hours. Me and Wham are going to break down most of the NFL card today, give y'all what we like, the plays that we have, and see if we can make y'all some money, man. So till next time, y'all already know LJ from H-Town RaWordz podcast, week 10 NFL prop bets. So y'all get some money, look over my plays, see what y'all like, see what y'all don't like, and see if y'all can cash in today. So like I said, tune in, Who Banking Sports on YouTube. Me and Trotway, I'm going to tap in, give y'all our NFL plays today, and get y'all some money, ladies and gentlemen. So until next Sunday, I will be back with my prop bets for week 11. So thank y'all for joining in. RaWordz podcast. LJ from H-Town. Follow me at LJ Sports Media on Twitter, which is now known as X. You know, most people say. So whatever y'all want to do, follow me over there on Twitter. You know, I put out my plays, you know, put out my views, put out my shows and things like that. So y'all can follow me, you know, get some insight on what I like to do. The NBA's back too. So we're diving into this NBA today. But no, we dived into NBA for the most part. But today, NFL week 10. Let's get it, ladies and gentlemen. See y'all next week.
Yeah, R-A-W, words being served, no concern and no trouble to get that dough. Money on my mind, if it's money all the time, we be pubbing on the grind. If it's LJ from Houston, pulling up stats, you'll be pulling in stacks, hitting bookies from the back with no Vaseline. I need green and upsea quantities for a fiend, save the dreams for a king. This is H-Town, home of the lean. Astros is the team and we rock Texans for life, you can't stop it. Together like brothers and vets, injects cash in your pockets.
This H-Town for real.